John parked his sports car on the drive and almost jumped out. Such was his excitement to check his mailbox. The lady on the telephone this morning had promised him that when he got home tonight, the package would be waiting for him. He ran to the door, his eyes fixed on the blue box that was attached to the brickwork just to the left of his front door. It was hard to believe what was inside waiting for him, or at least what he hoped was waiting for him. The problem was that it was impossible to tell whether anything had been delivered without opening the box. Well, that was not entirely true. Sometimes a letter or parcel was too big for the box, and the end could be seen protruding from the flap at the top, so that it did not close properly. This usually happened when it was his birthday and also when he ordered a book online. Annoyingly, it also happened when he received oversized junk mail items. Today there was no such protrusion, so there was no way to know whether he had received any mail at all. He reached inside his jacket inside pocket and fumbled for his keys. The key that opened the mailbox was a small one, with a yellow plastic cover at the non-functioning end. Yellow was his favorite color. He manipulated the bunch of keys with the fingers of his right hand to isolate the mailbox key from the many others on his key ring. The keys slipped from his fingers and fell with a clatter on the red tiles that covered the area directly in front of his door. Damn, he thought, and he bent down to retrieve the keys. He was just about to start rotating the keys again when this time the yellow key almost popped out and nestled nicely between his thumb and index finger. His excitement and nervousness was, in part, caused by the cost of the item that he was expecting. He had paid exactly $50,000 for the advice that the company had guaranteed would change his life. It was 3 weeks ago when he had asked his colleague at work, Joseph, how come he was so happy all of the time, despite the stress they were currently under with the redundancies. Over a drink that evening, Joseph had revealed his secret. He had responded to an online advertisement from a company that promised satisfaction, the secret to eternal happiness. Bizarrely, the only way to contact the company was by telephone, but over the course of several days and many telephone conversations, the lady from the company had convinced him that they could deliver on their promise. He was sold on the idea. He had balked at first when she told him the cost. However, as he told John that evening, what was money worth if he was not happy? Wasn't happiness worth any cost? John had taken less convincing because he saw the evidence in front of his eyes. He asked Joseph whether he had regretted the purchase, and Joseph emphatically replied, never, not for 1 second. John paid his money the following day and waited. Each morning, he would come downstairs and check the mailbox, even though he knew that it was too early for the scheduled deliveries. For the first week, he had stayed at home until the post had been delivered, which meant arriving late for work. Each day brought more disappointment, each more intense than the last. Eventually, he stopped waiting for the post, but would rush home after work to open the mailbox and inspect its contents. The last week, he had spent many hours on the telephone talking with the lady from the company. She assured him that the package was on the way. This morning, she told him it would arrive today. She promised. He opened the mailbox, and his heart stopped when he saw a single, sumptuous, dark red envelope. It was addressed to him in golden, flowery writing. There was no stamp. He opened the envelope carefully. The last thing he wanted to do was to rip the contents. Inside was a single piece of paper with just one sentence written on it. He quickly checked the other side of the paper, but it was blank. He read the instructions several times, and then he started to laugh. Now he knew why the package had been so expensive.